All right, good morning everyone. Welcome to E-Bike Recommendations, where we're trying to help you get educated about electric bikes so that you can make confident and informed decision to be able to identify what is the best electric bike for you so that you can get out there, change your lifestyle, and start enjoying your life too. So this series is our E-Bike Rider series, which highlights and shows a real-world example where we have used the concepts we've talked about in other videos to help a person in our local community shop here find the perfect e-bike for them. And these are stories that the rider is having really great success with. So riders who are real active in our e-bike community locally here, riders that are riding a lot, continuing to come by the shop. So we know that this was a success story. The other videos, the concepts that I'm talking about here are twofold. One is the fundamental features of e-bike framework. So that's where we talk about the 5 fundamental features that are on an e-bike, the different types, and what benefits those give to the potential rider. I'll link that video here in the description. And then we also have the e-bike rider profile. So this is a 12-step questionnaire to help you identify what benefits it is that you're looking for in an electric bike. If you can do that on the one side and then be able to understand what benefits are available from an electric bike, you can just match those up, and you'll be able to find the best electric bike for you, which will make sure that you give yourself every opportunity to become an avid e-biker. And I guarantee that if you do that, you're going to change your lifestyle and you're going to be out there enjoying your life almost every day like a lot of our riders are. So let's hop into it. Today we've got a customer named Bill. What we'll do is we'll run through his e-bike rider profile first and then jump into the bike that he ended up getting, which was the E-Lux Malibu GT. So going through the e-bike rider profile, his age, Bill is about a 65-year-old retired individual, used to be an English school teacher. He lives in California where we are, and we live in a coastal community, so there's a lot of hills around where we're riding. His riding experience, he hasn't ridden a pedal bike for quite a long time. So I would say minimal riding experience from that perspective. His desired comfort level is he wants comfort first. You know, he's not an overweight gentleman. He's definitely not fully fit. So having the comfort there for him is going to give him a more substantial feel of bicycle and a more comfortable riding experience, which if it's comfortable, it's something that he's going to get out and do regularly. If it's uncomfortable, he probably would leave it in his garage and never touch it again. What will he be primarily using the e-bike for? It's going to be heavy use recreation. He has a lot of time now to be able to devote to these hobbies and activities, and he was really interested in getting into electric bikes quite deeply. So how often did he intend to use the electric bike? At least a couple times a week, to almost every day. So we knew we were looking for quite a quality electric bike. The quality, the price point is going to decrease the amount of maintenance that is required. So it'll increase the service intervals between when he had to come back in, drop off the bike, and get it tuned up. So number 7, where will he mostly be using the e-bike? It's going to be on road only. You know, if he does hit a light path, it's going to be, you know, a very, very hard packed gravel path, or, you know, maybe around the sand. We don't really have a boardwalk here in our community, but, you know, maybe he'll pop it onto his vehicle and take it down somewhere like that where there's a boardwalk along the beach, something like that. Number 8, in which conditions will he primarily be riding in? It's going to be fair weather riding only. We're very lucky here in Southern California to have real outstanding weather, so yeah, mostly sunny. How far does he intend to go on his average ride? Bill has the intention of riding quite long distances, actually. Um, there's some trails that are further out away from our community here that if you get on, you can go for easily a 35-45 mile round trip. And being not a heavy rider, but a heavier rider, that's going to draw more juice from the battery quicker. I'd say rider weight is one of, if not the most important determinant of how fast that battery is going to drain. So keep that in mind if you are above 230 pounds. Number 10, what is your comfort level / plan in regards to maintaining the bicycle? So Bill, while being somewhat mechanically minded, at the start is definitely not sure about how to maintain anything on an electric bike. So it's definitely reliant on having someone do the maintenance work for him. Number 11, what is his desired power level? Being, again, 220, 230 pound rider, he does need a little bit of juice, especially some of the hills we have around here are, known in our local pedal bike community as being a great challenging hill to get up. So he does need something with quite a bit of power to be able to get him up the hills around our community here. And he doesn't want to rely on the motor all the time. If he does get worn out at an activity or something happens, he needs the ability for that bike to give him full juice so that he can get back home or up the hill or whatever is going on. He also has a soft spot for fast things. So one of his vehicles is a Maserati. He likes fast things. So, and then his preferred price range, he's definitely in our $2,000 plus category. He knows he's going to get into electric bikes, is looking for an activity that is really going to, fulfill a lot of his time and give him something to look forward to on a day-to-day basis, and an activity where he can do with his friends and family and kind of plan trips around. So it needs to be something that's super reliable, super powerful, and has long range of the battery life. So, all right, let's hop into the bike now. Alrighty, so we've got the E-Lux Malibu GT. Let's go through the different fundamental features that we've talked about in another video, and I'll show you where those come up in this bike specifically. So first of all, it is a rear hub motor. So this motor is going to have a lot of raw power. It's going to allow Bill to get a lot of power out of the bike while putting relatively little in himself, if that is what he needs to do at that moment. It's also going to allow him to take him to a very high top speed. So this Malibu GT actually has a 750 or 1,000 watt rear hub motor. Wattage is a tough rating to really give a solid number to. There's two reasons for that, is that there's two wattage ratings. One is nominal, which is where that motor is able to output wattage at continually with never breaking down, never overheating. And then there's the peak wattage, which is where that motor will be able to output energy at for a fraction of a second. So this nominal, maybe 750, 800, 900, something like that, its peak output is going to be 1,500 watts. If you put it on pedal assist level 5 or sit and hit the throttle, that it'll give it a lot of surge of power right away just for a fraction of a second. So wattage is one of those measurements that I really don't like putting a lot of weight behind, because there is no standard rating system or classification system. Nobody is monitoring how much wattage a company is saying that motor has. And then the biggest thing too is that there is no internal wattage in the motor. The wattage doesn't exist within the motor. It's a measurement of power. The power is coming from the battery, the voltage of the battery, that then goes through the controller, and the controller gives it current, the amperage. And so the amount of wattage that's in that motor is the voltage multiplied by the current. and that gives you how much wattage is there in the rear hub motor at that time. So when we're talking even about wattage of motor, that's just what wattage that motor is available to do. So what wattage can that motor do? It's not how much wattage, how much power is that motor going to give, because the motor doesn't actually give any power. It accepts the power from the controller and the battery. So a more important measurement to pay attention to if you're looking for power would be how much amperage is that controller. But no companies are going to say that right up front. So that's where you need to, if you want a lot of power and have reliable power, you're going to need to buy something from a very trusted source. So E-Lux is a company that I've been dealing with for about 6 years, and testing this bike versus other bikes that say 750 watt motors, this one has a lot of juice. It'll get you right up to 28 miles per hour with the pedal assist, which is the legal limit in the United States. So this bike has a lot of raw power with that rear hub motor. All right, the second one is going to be the riding posture, the frame geometry. So this is definitely a beach cruiser. It's got that lean back seat tube angle, and so Bill is pedaling out in front of him. It's putting him in a very upright riding posture, and those handlebars are coming back towards him to make up for that. So these bikes are longer wheelbases. Those handlebars are wrapped back towards him. He's in a very upright riding posture. This should be his upper body, and then his legs are pedaling out in front of him like that. So definitely the beach cruiser sensation, very comfortable initially, and on longer rides, some of the other factors on this bicycle are other comfort pieces, so that's going to allow him to stay comfortable on long rides. The third one that we talk about when we talk about fundamental features is just the frame style. So Bill ended up going with the traditional Step-Thru. He doesn't necessarily have a problem throwing his leg over, but 65 now, we're looking at having this bike for him for 5-6 years. By the time he hits 70, he may have an issue with that. But more importantly, he uses a bag on the back of the rack to hold some stuff that he does grocery shopping with and things like that. So he doesn't really have the option of throwing his leg up and over that bag on the back as well. So having the Step-Thru makes it nice and accessible for him, that he can easily enter and exit the bicycle. Number 4 is what type of brake system this one has. So this E-Lux Malibu GT actually has phenomenal hydraulic disc brakes. They're the Tektro Orion disc brakes, and so they're even an upgrade over the Malibu Sport, which is the base model of the Malibu. It has a 4-piston front brake, meaning that instead of just your traditional 1 piston on the outboard, 1 piston on the inboard hydraulic brake that is creating braking power like that, it actually has 2 on the out, 2 on the in, and it pushes together. Gives it a much bigger braking radius, braking surface, and so it's creating more braking force on that front. The front is also a huge disc brake rotor. I believe it's a 203 millimeter rotor. So the larger the rotor, the more pressure that brake is able to, the more leverage that brake has at slowing down the front wheel. Most of your braking power, 80%, I'd say, comes from the front brake. So having a really strong front brake is essential. With a bike like this, where your rider weight is so far over the back wheel and the weight of the motors in the rear wheel as well, you have no issue and no worry at all about stopping too fast with the front and having you go flying over the handlebars or anything like that. I'm convinced you could just lock up that front brake and the rear wouldn't even lift off at all, so the rear tire. So no worries about that. These are almost like downhill mountain bike type brakes that we'd see on a real hardcore mountain bike. So definitely in good hands with these brakes. All right, and then the last fundamental feature that we talk about is price point and quality, and also the battery range. So this bike is $29.95, almost $3,000 And so you're getting, a lot of built-in features. Bill was able to experience 100% of the benefits that he was looking for in an electric bike, which is really great. So, you have quite a few upgrades in terms of the comfort. So the suspension seat post is a $160 retail piece. It has an upgraded saddle for comfort as well. That's $65. It has the upgraded hydraulic disc brakes, so he's able to get quite a long range of service interval, maybe every 500 miles before he needs to come in for a tune-up. It actually has a really great mechanical shifter, which is a lot nicer than what we see on most of these rear hub bicycles. So that's really great. A great shifter and a great derailleur, which is going to really stay in tune for a long time. And then it has a lot of power. The controller is upgraded, and thus the rear hub motor is able to give more power. So this is a bike that'll be able to take you right up to 28 miles per hour or up any hill. And then it also has the 21 amp hour battery, which is a very long range capacity battery. Now when we're thinking about the more power that's going into it, the fact that Bill likes to ride at fast speed, and 230-pound rider, you're looking at probably 45-50 miles on an average range. So that's going to allow him to be able to do the type of rides that he is looking to do. So all right, great. So that's going to wrap it up for this rider profile. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Just want to reaffirm that the reason why we're doing this is to try and help you get yourself educated about what it is that you're looking for in an electric bike on the one side, and then also what is it that electric bikes have to offer. If you can match those up, you're going to give yourself the best opportunity for success. And here we define success as finding the perfect electric bike for you so that you can become an avid e-bike rider. That's going to guaranteed change your life and allow you a passionate hobby that you look forward to getting out there and enjoying your life too. So thanks again, everyone. Please check out any of the other videos if you liked this one. Hopefully you could see yourself a little bit in Bill's shoes, and if so, and this is a bike that you were already considering, I definitely recommend this model. It's one of our most popular ones at our shop. So thank you, everyone. Take care.